Thank you. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Good day? Yeah? All right. So I'm Pete Stein. I'm the CEO of Razorfish. And I wanted to share a little bit about my perspective on kind of the marketing landscape today. I've titled the conversation Marketing as a Service. And basically what I mean by that is marketing in service of the customer, or customer-driven marketing. And I think a topic that will resonate with all of you guys. I want to talk a little bit about the state of the industry as I see it today, and then jump into five opportunities that I see out there for all of us, and I'll share some examples. Okay, so let's take a step back first, and just talk about where things are. So. From here, if you wanted to get into the city by car a few years ago, you would have listened to 1010 Wins, and hopefully you're listening at the right time so that you can hear which bridge to take on your way in. But today, we have the ability to go to Google Maps or any other mapping function and figure out, based on the traffic, based on where we're trying to get to, and the right route, which route we should take. And tomorrow, we're going to be in a position where we don't have to know any of that. The car's just going to take us there. And what's crazy is, I got an opportunity to ride in one of these vehicles, and we do work with Mercedes, and the technology is there. The number of sensors and cameras in these cars today is insane, and they really can drive themselves. The barriers, of course, are our willingness to let them drive us, and legal and regulatory, but the technology is there. When shifting gears, as you want to change the temperature in your house, you did it manually a few years ago. Now you use your Nest, and it saves you money because it understands your patterns of when you're in the house and what temperature you want what temperature is comfortable for you. And in the near future, I hope this is tied to renewable energy sources that can manage the right flow of electricity to your house and not only save you money, but help save the earth. And then looking at a different angle, there's running. We used to just run or exercise on our own. Now when we go for a run, we do it with friends, and we can compete against them, and we know what routes they've run, and we're more engaged in their lives. And in the future, the app will run for us. All right, maybe not. But what's cool is that a lot of these, with the Open API movement and with things like If This Then That services that are already there for us, we can already connect Strava to Nest. I don't know if we can actually connect those right now, but theoretically, pretty quickly we could connect Strava to Nest so that the temperature in our house could be managed while we're out jogging. And more and more these technologies are going to connect, and the result is that the consumers that we're trying to talk to when we're marketing on behalf of our clients, or if we are a client, when we're marketing on behalf of our brands, is that these consumers their expectations have changed, right? They expect more from a brand. They expect that the brand is going to know them, that it's going to understand if they're a customer, that it's going to, it says here they hate advertising. I don't know if they hate advertising, but they certainly hate advertising that doesn't understand them and isn't meaningful and isn't relevant. And so I would also say, though, as much as the consumer has advanced, they still, in some ways, technology is still out ahead of us. I was at a conference this weekend, and Stephen Wolfram, who developed, many of you probably know, he developed the Wolfram Alpha, which is the technology that powers Siri. He was talking about the fact that there's so many things that the technology can do that consumers don't ask of it just because we haven't been trained to, we don't know to. So he was giving the example of, if we ask Siri or the Wolfram Alpha, how long, if we say sunburn, or how long will it take me to get sunburn, it can run all of the computations to figure out, based on our skin type, based on where we are, based on the time of year and the time of day and the weather, how long it's going to take us to get sunburn. But we don't really think of technology helping us with those kind of predictive activities. And so I think more and more as consumers, we're going to start to learn what the technology can do and think of it in a very predictive way. Things like Google now are already moving there and training us, but more and more I think technology is going to go in that direction. So I think the question is, why then, if technology is so people-centered and so focused on trying to deliver value to consumers, why is it that marketing hasn't gone further faster? Why is it that as a marketing community, we're not putting the customer more at the center? So just quickly, let's take a look back in time. Yesterday, back in the day, in the 90s, from a digital perspective, we had brochureware. We were, moved on to, we graduated to matching luggage. At least the advertising was connected to the TV. We still had channel silos digitally. Search was separate from display. And then things got a little bit more multi-channel, so mobile came into play, and we were talking to the consumer in all these different channels. And I would say now, I don't think we're really at an intelligent ecosystem yet, but at least theoretically, we've got all the pieces to deliver an intelligent ecosystem that understands who the customer is, who they are, what they're looking for from us as a brand, and what kind of communication we should have with them, theoretically. And then in the future, as I think about tomorrow and the kind of post-digital era, we're going to move into a place where there's the Internet of Things come into play. There's sensors on everything. There's more data available to really help deliver that kind of great customer experience that is predictive. And then, ultimately, as Ray Kurzweil would say, we'll have the singularity when man and machine connect, something that my CTO gets really excited about. And we have, I would say, we've come pretty far. I don't know if I'd say we've come a long way. Honestly, I don't think we've come far enough. But we have moved away from advertising that's done to you, from interruption, from pure interruption, and from counting only impressions to a place where advertising is more engaging, where it is more native, where it is really connecting with the consumer. And the capabilities that we think are required to succeed in this new world are, first you need to really be savvy and understand data and platforms. You need to have the IQ and the intelligence to deliver on that. You need to have the creativity and the spirit of innovation. And finally, you need to have the kind of operational skills and capabilities and financial acumen to deliver on this full ecosystem, which is really hard. And ultimately, I think having all these capabilities, figuring out how to get them to work together is what probably the biggest barrier. In addition to that, as you look at, and this applies, I think, both to agencies and to clients, as you look at your organization, the tech, the creative, and the media are often separate. And in fact, I think one of the biggest barriers is that they're bought separately. So it's very common these days that clients will buy these services separately from separate agencies. And within their organization, these people are not talking necessarily. I think it's getting better, but we've got a long way to go. And if you look at, there was a McKinsey study that came out recently when they talked to CEOs around the world, and the two biggest factors that were in the way of big digital initiatives moving forward were executive level sponsorship, so that you could rise above these silos, and then digital leadership, so that just the level of digital acumen being in place in organizations. So enough with the slideware. Let's talk about 5 examples that I think are relevant to all of us, and hopefully can help us think differently about marketing in the post-digital era. So the first thing that I think is critical is to know them. There's a lot of conversation about big data, but there's not necessarily a lot of clients that are putting in place kind of that single view of the customer, one that allows you and enables you to understand who they are across the various touch points and deliver the right experience based on what we know about them. We did a study with Adobe last year. We saw that very, 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 very few clients were doing any kind of personalization, any kind of recognition of who you are in an implicit or explicit way when you came to their site. So there's clearly a long way to go here. But we've been working with Best Buy for the past 3 years on this exact problem. So we built a single view of the customer, which takes into account all of what they know about you as a customer, all of what they know about your behavior on their own properties, all of their website and other sites that they may own, all of your social behavior, all of your behavior with their CRM. So all of that is centralized in one place, and it allows them, as they see you in different places, to refine the communication to you. And what we've seen is that the return on ad spend is 3 to 5 times higher when you're leveraging this platform as opposed to not. So it's a pretty dramatic increase in return for them. And I think one of the things that's in the way of big data is that it's a little bit daunting. And so, a lot of effort went into putting together this platform and this program for them, and a lot of thinking about the customer and how they're behaving and where we can collect data from them, and what kind of experiences we want to deliver to them, and where personalization is relevant and makes sense. And I guess what my advice is just, it was a test and learn approach. We really took baby steps and moved, didn't move to build the whole platform overnight. It really has taken 3 years to get to where we are, and we've got a long way to go still. Second opportunity, I think, is in giving a gift, and this is very central to the idea of marketing as a service. So one of the clients that I think is amazing at this is Nike. I think they've always been, even with their interruption advertising, they've always been very customer focused on really trying to make that great connection with their customer. And so this was some work. We've been their digital media agency for the last 10 years. And one of the things that they do is amazing is they always bring when they've got a brief, they bring all the agencies to the table. So clearly TV still plays a significant role for them, but they really put digital at the heart of it and try to make digital core to the campaign. And so this was some work we did for them for Title IX called Make the Rules, and Title IX was really what it helped women to get their equal treatment in college athletics. And so they wanted to celebrate the 40th anniversary of that. And the first thing that they did in terms of giving a gift was they created a great piece of film that pulled forward the athletes that they've got, that they sponsor. And those athletes were just talking about their experience with Title IX and what it did for them. And the goal ultimately was to inspire the next generation of athletes. And so we took that film and we seeded it all over the internet, but then we also wanted to drive a conversation. And so we took these rules that they put out there that were things like, don't run away from challenges, run over them, or Mia Hamm saying, make skin, knees, and elbows worth it. And so we took the professional athletes and put their rules out there, but then gave all consumers a way to engage with it. And the engagement was incredibly high. And so we pulled all that user-generated content in, put it out on Nike social properties, put it out on social properties of ESPNW, who is a partner in this, and things like Pinterest. And the social engagement on this was 54 times their benchmarks. So it was massive, and I think the reason why was, I think this is a topic that people were passionate about, but also they gave a great gift to their customers. So building on that, beyond, I think, gift giving is actually delivering a service, and this kind of gets at the core of the idea here for me. And this, I'll play a quick video. This is for Kellogg's and Special K, and every year they run a program around resolution season for their customers who are very focused on weight loss. It was a 2-week program. It was very marketing driven. And so they decided that they wanted to rethink it. And we worked with them to go out and talk with their customers and look at a new way to deliver this as more of a service than as a marketing program. And I'll go ahead and play the video. So, this was a great piece of work that really put the customer at the center, and I love that they were able to design their own program and do it in the way that they wanted to, that they had those kind of options. That, it was interesting that so many people used it in mobile only, and that's really driven a lot of the thinking in the future for Kellogg's broadly about how they engage with their customer. But the thing that I think really has been made the biggest impact at Kellogg's is just seeing the increase in product usage based on the engagement with this product. So really cool work. Fourth thing is to partner. You guys know the saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think with digital, in this kind of new marketing world, you need to do both. There's no way to keep up with everything that's happening. You really need to rely on partners. And one of the areas where we see an interesting opportunity is figuring out how do we, with publishers in particular, how do we not just use the existing inventory, but create new inventory that allows us to put a service on their platform. So leverage what is innate and great about their platform and build a service on top of it that makes sense for the customer. We think the engagement will be a lot higher. And this is something that's still in the experimentation phase for us. But the way that we've approached it for now, at least, thus far, is we've had hack sessions with Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter so far. And for most of them, we've brought clients into it. And this was one in Chicago that we did with Google. And we had 3 briefs, and we had 40 people involved. There were 10 teams. And they had 36 hours to come back with 10 working concepts. And it was great for the culture and the spirit, but also I think it opened up the eyes of people in the office and at Google and on the client side as well for what the possibilities are for leveraging any of the APIs that they have to deliver unique and interesting experiences that really are in service of the customer. So we're going to continue to do more of that. And then the last thing is around moving quickly and being nimble. And I think being nimble, we're a pretty big agency, and being nimble doesn't have to be left only to the small agencies or the small clients for that matter. And I think what it really takes, where we found it to be successful, is where we do the right level of planning. I think when you're dealing with big clients and big budgets, you really have to plan to be nimble. So an example of that is Smart, and I'll play the video. So the reason why this worked is because we had a platform that we had put in place a social engagement platform called Humor the Haters, Love the Lovers. Smart tends to be a very polarizing car. There's people who absolutely love it. But there's also people who think it's too small, it's unsafe, and so we really wanted, that was the mechanism through which we would engage with people. Anytime we saw any kind of super positive or negative sentiment, we would dive down deep and then respond quickly. So this was out within 24 hours. The client was ready to go. And then the other thing that we've done, this was probably about a year ago, so we didn't do it in this case, but one of the things that we've done is we've tried to change our media buying approach so that the media spend, paid media follows the content. So if we have a post in the social space that we think is going to be successful, we make sure that we have media set aside to fuel the fire and really try to get a conversation going even faster further. And it's been super effective. It's just a matter, again, of planning ahead and having that budget in place so that you can move quickly. So those are my 5 areas of opportunity, and I'm happy to take any questions. I just want to say thanks to the 4As for having me. Great spot for a conference, and thank you. Any questions? Shoot. How long did it take to what? Sorry.
To get the response back from the smart
For us to
car.
get that response out, it was within 24 hours. Yeah, so we had a team, our social team and our creative team are embedded there, and they're basically always on the lookout. So when the social team sees something, they just tap that team and they were off and running. I think it happened on a Friday too, so I think it went out on Saturday. Other questions? Was there one back there? No? Anyone? Bueller? No? Good? All right. Thank you, guys.